What's up, guys? Nick Rapazzi here. Welcome to Paradise C6 YouTube channel. So yesterday, where the parts came in, these two fittings came in. I could have got these at the auto store, but they only had plastic, and I felt a little bit more comfortable with a piece of aluminum actually being the extender. And the reason why we need this in the hose is I want the two heater core hoses to come up and out of the way and as far away from the heat of the turbo as I possibly can get it. And we're going to disconnect it right at the heater core right here. So I'm going to get something to pinch the line just to stop the water from flowing out as much as it, and try to save as much in the system as we can, and basically connect this hose to the heater core, this in between the two, and this way that gives us the extra like 6 to 8 inches of hose that we need just to get it up and out of the way, so it's not going to affect anything. And I just have to remember keeping this up and out of the way, but also you want to keep it below the actual fill on it, because if that's doing that, it's going to get airlocked. And this being just the hoses, I can move them down if I need to bleed the system and move them back out of the way just so they're not near the heat. I don't need them much farther out of the way. Like this one, this one's fine where it is. I just don't like how it's pulling it and it's not connecting well over there, so it doesn't move. And this one just needs to come up a couple inches. So let me grab some clamps, get the hose clamps so we can stop the amount of water that's going to be coming out, disconnect these, add in the hoses, and get this going. And then we can reinstall the entire turbo kit with the heat wrap and everything on it. And again, we don't have any heat wrap on, I don't know where the downpipe is. It's around here somewhere. Oh, it's right there in that box. We don't have the heat wrap just yet. When that comes in, I'll pull the downpipe off and do that. And I also got another quart of oil because we did lose roughly like a half a quart when we took the turbo drain off, so just because of the way that the car is tilted on the jack stand. So let's get to it.
I was standing outside waiting for you. You were always taking time, baby, playing it through. I was calling out your name with my eyes on the wall. You were running like a ghost from me. You were running from it all. You got me waiting, I'm on fire. You got me waiting, my desire.
All the coolant hoses in, all the extensions are fine. Not as much coolant spilled out as I thought would. I guess clamping the hose like that was a good idea. So I zip tied everything up. This Velcro like heat wrap hose stuff didn't really hold so well, so I put a bunch of zip ties on it and then zip tied it to the AC line to keep it up out of the way, so it's going right along here and it's not going to touch anything. The only thing I have to test fit to see what I have to do to move is this AC line. So we're going to get the manifolds installed, get the turbo and all that stuff installed, and then see what's the best idea for this to keep this out of the way and off the heat and not interfere with anything. So let's get this back in.
You've been playing my mind lately, turn it around. Once I thought you were mine, baby, we're safe and sound. You got me waiting, I'm on fire.
right, guys, we have everything put in. The turbo's mounted up, feeds on, drains on. I adjusted the drain so everything doesn't touch. This is actually not really touching whatsoever, but I think what I'm gonna do is just get some zip ties to hold the AC line back just to make sure that it doesn't actually touch anything. And other than that, everything's plugged in where it's supposed to be. Well, I guess not. I lied to you guys. So the throttle's not plugged in. And the evap system. So plug in this evap system. This I'm gonna be moving to the other side just to get it out of the way, but for now it's just gonna stay like this until we get a bunch of other stuff done, because it's just not worth it to me right now with trying to get this thing to actually run. So that'll be a whole nother video on how to make that a little bit more cleaned up than what it is. I don't know why this is being so difficult right now. It's just bolts like this. What the hell is going on here? Kind of confused about how this is supposed to go. What the hell am I doing here? Oh, this twist, that's why. Alright, so that's just gonna chill right there. But yeah, I think I'm gonna start this up, make sure I got no leaks in the coolant system here, let it get up to temperature, make sure everything's still running correctly, and just clean up this hot mess that's going on here. So let me clean up all this. We'll get the truck out back, get this thing jump started, and start it up and check everything over. All right, guys, so we have everything hooked back up. I have it charging up. It's been on for probably about 5 or 10 minutes now. I just double checked everything to make sure that nothing's loose. I tightened down the intercooler, checked all plugs, wires. I don't see anything loose. So let's give it a fire up. Hopefully it didn't miss anything. And this thing hopefully will fire up, because it hasn't been on in probably about 2 or 3 weeks. And the battery has been dead as hell. So let's find out. Oh no, this thing dead as hell. Let's see where the battery is at. It's showing 13. No. Let's give it another 5 more minutes and then see what happens. All right, temp 2. It's been another 5 minutes. See if this thing will go. Fired right up. Oil pressure's still good. Let's go see if we got any leaks. Guys, I don't know if you can hear me, but it's smoking like hell from the header wrap and then everything else that I touched that hit my hand. So there's probably most likely a lot of oil on everything. So I'm gonna wait outside, let this thing burn off any excess shit that's on it, and then come back and check to make sure everything's good on it. Yeah, it's smoking pretty good. But so far everything looks pretty good on it. I don't see any leaks or anything. I don't see the coolant pipes that I changed or extensions that I put on. I don't see those leaking or anything. So we're doing all right here. So let me get out of this smoke and we'll check in after everything's all turned off. All right, guys, so everything's together. Nothing's leaking. The hose is held up. The temperature's good. The coolant's a little bit low, so I'll probably pick up a gallon of coolant and fill that up, because I use the GM like orange coolant, and I have a thing of green, but I'd rather just get another thing of orange and just put that in for what it's supposed to be. Nothing else is really left except for to bring it to John, but in the meantime, I'm going to disassemble the entire body. So we're going to take off the bumper, the fenders. I'm gonna leave the doors. I do want to take the mirrors off, the rear fenders, the halo, and the rear bumper. So this way we can paint all of that off the car. We can have as much space as we want inside the garage. I'll pull this out, and I do still have to cut the hole in the hood for the turbo and mount that up and get that all correct. But in the meantime, we'll just prep for paint. So we'll get these all sanded down, get them all ready. Give me some practice with the, so I did buy the gray epoxy primer, and this actually calls for a white. So I did order the white. That did take about a week to come in, so I'm hoping the other primer and stuff comes in about a week. And we're gonna primer these gray, sand them down, just get some practice in with that gray paint, and then go over it with the white, make sure it's all smooth, and then go with the actual color of the car, as I showed you guys in the last video. If you haven't seen that, go check it out. I do have a new wing that we're gonna be putting on, so we'll be taking this one off, and they're basically gonna be interchangeable because of the way they mount. So we'll pull this off, put it to the side, and I do want to repaint this anyway, so I might paint this black again when I do everything else. But yeah, that's it. We're pretty much ready for the dyno and stuff. We just got to get that intercooler stuff done and the vacuum lines, and we're good to go. So hopefully in the next week or so, we'll see the dyno and have this thing painted and have it on the road, and we'll take it for some test drives and do some ride-alongs. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button if you haven't, and talk to y'all later. Peace.